Welcome to Jester's DayZ tutorial. First things first, select your gender. Next things next, tab out while you're loading and browse Reddit for a while. Alright, well, it's late in the day, which is kind of bad, but it'll give me the opportunity to show you guys a couple of things. This is a brand new character for me. One of the first things you need to do is you need to learn how to use things off of your toolbelt, quote-unquote toolbelt. It's not something built in ARM, it's something that DayZ adds. So right now I want to get my flashlight off my toolbelt. Just right-click, remove from toolbelt. It goes in your pistol slot, so you can't have a flashlight and a pistol at the same time. Now I've got a flashlight. Lighthouse up there, I have no idea where I'm at. But there's a building right here. It's the next thing. Loot in DayZ only comes from enterable buildings, buildings that you can go inside of. Some of the buildings only have an archway, but those you can still, loot will spawn in the archways. Other places to check, always make sure you check outhouses. You can, if you see one, you can open a door on it. And the best thing I've ever found in there was in 1911. I've heard people find maps and compasses. This particular building you cannot go into. So let's move forward. Oh, let's go over the icons on the right side of the screen. From top to bottom, you've got the ear and the eye. You've got a big space. Then you've got your temperature, which mine is already actually down to 36 degrees Celsius. It starts at 42. Then you've got water, blood, and food. Water and food deteriorate fairly quickly. It's going to be one of your primary concerns when you first start playing. Finding water, food, and a weapon. The eye and the ear. You can see right now I've got no eye because it's nighttime. Nothing can see me. Of course, I can't see anything. I've got a little bit of ear. Let me show you the difference. I'm walking on this dirt road. Now I've got 2. But once I move over into the grass, it goes down to 1. Once I go to a crouch walk, it goes to none. So right now, for Z's, I'm effectively almost invisible. There's power lines over there? Yeah, let's see where those go. Let's see power lines over here. Oh, docks. Oh, okay. It means I'm near a big city. So, I'm going to follow the shoreline with my flashlight off so the players can't see me. Get over to whatever big city that is. And normally I play pretty aggressively until I actually hear a Z, or obviously see one. And by aggressively I mean I move quickly. If you start getting chased by a Z, and you have no weapon, obviously you can't fight, so you run. If you run through bushes, like this one I'm looking at right now, or trees that go low, that their branches go low to the ground and get really thick, like if you run through this bush right here, you have a good chance of the zombie losing sight of you. So if you ever start getting chased by a Z, or Z's, as is usually the case, run through all of the building, or all of the bushes and trees. Here's Z. Well, I'm being paranoid. Run through all the bushes and trees like that you can find. Now, this is my first enterable building. So let's see. There's engine parts, which are greatly useful to me, considering I don't have anything else. Engine parts and fuel tank parts. All of this stuff is utterly useless to me. I think this building rests. Alright, well, we got some stuff in here that's useful. Got my first weapon, which is the hatchet. Take the hatchet. Alright, now just like the flashlight, the hatchet goes on your tool belt. And you have to right-click, remove from tool belt. And then, oddly enough, because of some of the limitations of the ARMA engine, you have to switch to your hatchet and reload it. And there you go. You have 100,000 swings with your hatchet. You can't have your flashlight and your hatchet out at the same time. Now in this pile, a frag grenade. This is not generally something you're going to find right off the bat. Morphine, it repairs broken bones. One of the worst things you can have happen to you in the game is get a broken bone, a broken leg, because then you can't walk at all. You have to crawl everywhere, and it sucks. Hunting knife. The hunting knife is used to gut animals. If you find an animal, you kill it, you gut it. But in addition to the hunting knife, you need a hatchet to cut wood, and you need a box of matches to start a fire. So right now, all I actually need to survive all of DayZ, if I want to be a hermit, is a box of matches. Now unfortunately, boxes of matches are pretty hard to come by. But they are infinite. You never run out of matches. So I've got a weapon, but if I get a Z on me, I'm not going to be able to see anything. But to reiterate, for hunting, which will bring you all the food you ever need, all you need is something to kill. Well, if you have a hatchet, you already have... Oh, shit. You can see me. You can see me. Nope, he saw me. Alright, next DayZ trick. Zombies... Where is this one? Zombies cannot run inside of buildings. So if you get yourself into a hot spot, get inside a building and switch to your weapon. Now I can't see anything in front of me, so I'm just swinging my weapon. And I'm pretty sure I killed both of them. Alright. Well, that was exciting. Doesn't look like either one of them had anything on. But that was very fortunate for me, finding a weapon that early on. Otherwise I would have had to run. Right. So, to reiterate, hunting, you need three things. You need a hatchet, a knife, and a box of matches. You can use the hatchet to kill the animal silently. You also need the hatchet to chop wood. You use the knife to gut the animal, and then you use the box of matches along with the wood to create a fireplace, and then you start the fire and you cook the meat on the fireplace. Alright, now I'm on the outskirts of a town. I don't know what town. It's a big old hotel, so I think I'm in Chernogorsk, which is one of the most dangerous places to be, especially at night with a flashlight. But we'll see. Yeah, sure, we'll say that says Chernogorsk. Alright, this is another good example of sort of a non-interable building that has a loot spawn. This little shack with the overhang right here. It looks like another hatchet. So, Shack with the overhang. Pretty much anything that you can sort of stand under has spawn areas for loot. Here another Z. I see a Z. Now, right now, flashlight doesn't seem to affect Z spotting you at night. Boy. Getting pretty close to these guys, but if you look, I have 0 ear and 0 eye, which means I can't be heard or seen very well at all. Now, I almost went out on the road just now. That would have been a bad idea, because in the grass, I can't really be heard. As soon as I got onto the road, my footsteps would have become louder, and that guy might have seen me. That guy, that dead guy. Oh, come on now. I'm trying to make a video here. Let's go on the back of the house. There's a light source coming from the construction site up there, which means that there's a player there or has been recently. So, this may be my last few DayZ moments. Oh, another good point. Chat. Use your comma and period. Look at the bottom left side of the video. You see how it's cycling through direct, vehicle, and group? You need to always be on direct, because if you're not on direct and you're trying to talk to other people through group chat, they won't be able to hear you and they'll probably shoot you. Is that a player? It's nighttime for him too. I believe, however, that we're going to continue this tutorial on a daytime server. Alright, we're back. And it's daytime. So let's continue on. Now you guys will actually be able to see what I'm doing. Certain types of buildings have certain types of loot. That same fire is burning in here. I guess it's just permanently burning. Residential buildings have sort of a mix of, you know, maybe hunting gear and first aid gear, and this construction site's going to have a lot of car parts. If you can find military tents, which I'll get to some in a minute, they'll have military weaponry. The ones here have low-grade military weaponry. The high-grade military weaponry is on the airfields. So I can switch away from my flashlight. A toolbox. A toolbox is very useful. I'll show you why. Tool belt. Don't forget to reload your hatchet, which it's not letting me do for some reason. Apparently I'm out of hatchet ammo. Toolbox is a secondary item. It takes up a secondary slot. There we go. This is another point. Pick up all the ammo you come across when you start a new life. Because you never know what weapon you'll find first. Another thing. Empty soda cans. I'll demonstrate how they work. Basically, you can throw them and they'll distract Z's. Z's will move to them. So if there's a Z blocking a doorway or building that you want to go into, you can throw an empty soda can or empty whiskey bottle, and it will attract them. But basically this is a large part of DayZ. You're going to be scavenging and dying a lot. Most of your deaths, if you're smart about how you interact with Z's, are going to come from other players. Once you have a hatchet, you're pretty much an unstoppable zombie killing machine, because if you're inside of a building, the hatchet has farther range than a zombie, so you should never really get hit by one. If you observe my eye and my ear over on the right side, I know the ear is somewhat blocked. But you can see that even standing still right now, my eye is at 2 bars. If I go prone, it should drop to 0. But... And another thing, there are 2 modes of crawl. You can slow crawl and fast crawl. They have the same visibility and audibility range, so you should almost always fast crawl. The one exception being if you're trying to keep your breath caught up because you're about to take a long distance shot. Fast crawling makes you breathe heavily, and it takes you a while to catch your breath. See how the eye went from 0 and the ear went from 0 to both 1 when I got on the road. It's because you become more visible depending on what surface you're on. It should go back down to 0 now. Yep. You'll have to play around with the visibility and the hearing ranges on your own and get used to them. If a Z is on the other side of a wall and can't see you, they shouldn't be able to hear you as well, so you can be a little bit more quick and aggressive with your movement. The other option is to say screw it and go fast to wherever you're trying to go, and either try to lose the Z's that you piss off on your way, or turn around and kill them all. Hear some Z on the other side of the wall. Can I aggro? Can't tell. But while he's distracted, let's move away from him. Still coming for me? And of course, I got hit once and I'm bleeding. A lot of times that'll happen. The first time you ever get hit, you'll bleed. It's very aggravating, but I always carry at least 4 bandages. I believe that's a hospital right there. So let's try to hit it up first. Hospitals. The only place you can really get blood bags in the game. There are 2 hospitals in Chernogorsk, which is where I am, a very dangerous place to be. There's one in Elektrozavodsk, which is the other large city in DayZ. The other most dangerous place to be. So getting blood bags is always a big risk, but it's also a very big reward. And I can hear gunshots, so... Oh boy, there is definitely something going on over there. Perfect example of why the toolbox is good. If I didn't have a toolbox, this wire fence would stop me from being able to go into this building. Now the other entrance to the building is not obstructed, but if I can, there we go. You can remove wire with the toolbox. So let's avoid wherever that explosion happened earlier. I saw a cafe over in this direction earlier, which a lot of times has weapons. And here's my first gun. The Lee Enfield is kind of a mixed blessing. It's a one-hit kill, but it's bolt action. But it has 2 magazines with it already, and I've already picked up 2 extra Lee Enfield magazines. So since I was picking up all the ammo like I said earlier, I start with 40 rounds of ammo for it. This is a good example. This building over here is a good example of the building that's not iterable, but it has the archway. That gear can spawn in. And a lot of times you'll find a backpack. Let's see what this is. Another Makarov mag. What a surprise. Let's go ahead and take it. I'll probably find a Makarov. These archways a lot of times have gear in them also, but I don't see any in there right now. Let's talk about the crowbar. If you ever see a crowbar, just leave it. Don't even look twice at it. It is the most worthless piece of crap. It has the same range as a Z, and it takes 5 or 6 hits to kill a Z. I don't even want to think about how many it would take to kill a player. Alright, see my water bottle on the lower right hand side of my screen is orange now. So since my inventory is full, I'm going to go ahead and drink. Backpack, very nice. I'm getting a little lucky on this run. Alright, this is a good thing to point out. You see this pile of gear here. It's got several pieces of gear and then the backpack. But when I go into the gear pile, the backpack itself is not there. What you have to do is pick everything up out of the pile. Close it, and then the backpack will be there. Which brings us to another point. If you have a backpack and you're going to switch for a new backpack, drop your current pack first, grab the new pack, and then get all the stuff out of your old pack. What can happen sometimes if you just simply replace your backpack with the other one is it can destroy your backpack in the process. Whenever you're near windows, just go prone for your safety. Water bottles. Water bottles are good because you can refill them. Anytime you see a lake or a spigot, a water pump, you can refill your water bottle from that. Here's a box of matches. I'm almost at the point where I'm going to want to get out of Chernobyl. So I've got an okay weapon, a good backpack. If I can find a compass and or a map, I'll definitely get out of here because the risk-reward becomes too unbalanced. Binoculars. You're gonna go, well, probably don't want binoculars if it's your first time playing. You want binoculars. Unless you have a scoped weapon, the view range in DayZ, in Arma in general, the minimum view range is 500 meters, which for I heard a shot, 2 shots. Where's that? I don't know, but I'm staying away from it. The minimum view distance in Arma is 500 meters. You cannot go below that. That's the maximum in a lot of first-person shooters. In Arma, you can get up to 3,000 meters of view distance. Correction, you can get 10,000 meters. Enemies and vehicles, units and vehicles draw all the way out to 3,500 meters. As I was saying, let's go to one last area before we leave Cherno, which is those military tents I was talking about. Extremely high risk, probably not worth the reward. Now I'll demonstrate a little bit about flares. Flares illuminate a huge area. Now I'm going to throw these flares, this area over here. It's probably going to be very hard to see, but I know for a fact that there are military tents over there. They're a really good way to freak people out too, and get them to give away their positions. They're also a really good way to give away your own position. I just shot that other player. Shot the Z, but I'm also fairly certain he was shooting earlier. Alright, let us leave this place. That looks like a better place. There, that bridge and barn house are. This is a good place to demonstrate how the water bottles work, so I will do so. Drink your water from the bottle as normal, right click, drink. But then, as long as you're in water, you can then right click and refill the water. And now you have a full water bottle again. Very simple. Alright, now let's discuss status effects. Status effects are things like hypothermia, broken bones, shaking uncontrollably, being unconscious, bleeding. All of these things have a medical counter to them. For bleeding, which is the most common one you're going to come across, you have bandages. You right click and you bandage. I've already done that earlier in the video, so you'll know what that looks like. Painkillers. You can't see it now because I'm not in pain. But what will happen is you'll be shaking, pretty much like this. I'm doing this manual, and you'll hardly be able to aim. And what you do is you take the painkillers, and they will steady your aim back out. Next is morphine. Morphine is for when you break your leg or get your leg broken, depending. Sometimes you'll break it by stepping on a pebble because this is armor, and most of the time zombies will break it, and then sometimes you'll get shot in the leg and actually survive, and that will break it. So you use morphine for broken legs. These status effects show up over on the right side between the eye and the thermometer. The broken bone looks like a broken bone. Then there's concussion. Concussion makes it so you can't hear. There is actually no counter for being concussed that I know of. It just makes your ears ring and you won't be able to hear very well for an indeterminate amount of time. EpiPen. EpiPen is a shot of adrenaline for when you get knocked out, and it will wake you up. Now, I believe I have everything needed to go hunting. I have a hatchet, a knife, and a box of matches. So, now that I'm at half health, let's see if I can go find an animal to kill. One more thing before I leave the Z-infested area. That Z back there doesn't see me from where I am. But watch what happens when I shoot. Now he sees me. Every weapon in DayZ has a certain audible range. The Lee Enfield is one of the louder ones. So take care when you're shooting to know where Zs are around you, because if you're lining up a shot and you take it, say on another player, you have to be aware of where the Zs are around you so that you don't get swarmed and killed by Zs in the middle of a firefight. I think he knows that he has been spotted. Oh look, I need painkillers. So, right click, take painkillers, and my aim should be steadied out. Now, for a test of marksmanship. Give that a B-. It would be worse, but the follow-up shot was very quick. To get, you simply mouse over, use your mouse wheel, and gut the animal, and then the meat will be on the corpse. So you go to the animal's gear. And what I'll do is I'll actually eat all of the beans that I have. Last point. Food not only restores your food level, but it also restores your health. Beans, sardines, pasta restore 200 health. So after I eat these beans, it'll go to 7247. And then the next two cans will bring it up 400 more. So I'll be at 7647. However, meat, when you eat meat, it restores 800 health. And I'll demonstrate that in a minute, because I'm going to eat all 3 of these. And look at that. I'll go ahead and cook the meat I just got. Eat it all, and then go back and get that meat also. So to use your hatchet and get wood, first of all you have to have 2 full spots in your inventory. Now I'm being shot at. So we will have to demonstrate this later. He shot me through. That doesn't make any sense. Well, in order to cook the meat, you right-click the hatchet with 2 free spots in your inventory, which will give you wood. Once you have the wood, you right-click your matches, not the wood, but you right-click the matches and make a fireplace. It'll make a fireplace on the ground. You light the fireplace, and then you use the context menu on the fire to cook the meat. And be ready to see this particular screen and hear this particular music quite a bit. Welcome to DayZ.